Welcome to the Republic of Arsenal. We're live once again. An extremely special episode for you tonight. For everyone tuning in, this one is going to be, let's be fair, this one is going to be carnage. We've been talking a little bit off air. It's going to be carnage. But look, it's going to be banter central. In case you haven't realised or in case you've forgotten, I'm going to remind you, this is the eve of the North London Derby, the biggest fixture in the calendar for Spurs and Arsenal fans. 4:30 kickoff tomorrow from the Emirates Stadium, the home of football in North London. This is the big one, lads. I'm so pumped for this one. I can't even explain. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And just before I introduce it to my special guest panel, I'm going to play a quick clip. Lads, North London Derby. It's Arsenal against Tottenham. Let's get excited for this one. Oh, lads, this is going to be a good one. Yeah, so look, big shout out to everyone on the panel. I will introduce them now. Big shout out to everybody who tunes in. Apologies, we started a couple of minutes behind schedule, but hey, look, it is what it is. So yeah, look, joining me tonight, we've got 2 Spurs fans. I've got 2 Arsenal fans. As I said, it's going to be banter central tonight. Disclaimer, and I always throw this out there, me being Irish, it's hard enough at times, I think, for people to decipher what I'm trying to say. There's 3 Irish men on the panel tonight, and again, I still haven't figured out how to put the subtitles up, so you just have to bear with us. We do apologise, we'll do our best. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to big Arsenal fan, our resident therapist, the Gooner since '96, Farhan. Farhan, we're going to need you tonight. This is the big one, and as I said, look, I might need a bit of therapy before this one, because this is the one that gives me sleepless nights. This is the big one. You know, this is the one we cannot afford to be losing, irrespective of league position in the table. This one, for Arsenal fans and Spurs fans, this is a cup final every single time. So look, I'm glad you're here with me tonight. I think I'm going to need you. So thanks for coming along.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Anthony. Look, I couldn't have said it any better, better than the way that you put it. It is going to be like a cup final. It's, it's one of the first fixtures that we look at as soon as the fixture list is released, and regardless of how the season's gone for us, regardless how the season's gone for them, form really does go out the window when you come into a fixture like this. And it will be nail biting. It will be on the edge of the seat, kind of a game. But I'm quietly optimistic and confident that we'll get the result that we need.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I really do. I don't know if the 2 boys underneath are going to agree, but before we introduce everybody to the 2 lads down below, we've got the fireman back, the hype man, the man they call Mystic Sulz, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm telling you, this guy, if you need your lotto numbers, go to this man. If you need a first goal scorer bet, go to this man, because he's picking out winners left, right, and centre. So just before this show is over tonight, Sulz, you're going to be asked for that prediction. So
I got winners for next week, Sulz. In the chat room.
No, anything about the lottery.
There's only 500 horses racing next week, and there's only 28 winners, so come on, Sulz, no pressure.
Just drop me the names, I'll pick one. I don't know anything about it.
You're the main man, I thought. You're the main man.
But it comes to football, yeah.
Have you got a fire intro for us today, Sulz? Because this is the big one, so I'm expecting nothing short of amazeballs from you here.
Yeah, Anthony, man, this is Spurs we're talking about. The team that celebrates doing well. We celebrate trophies. In our shittest season, we win an FA Cup against all odds. In their best season, what did they do recently? Just celebrating the fact that they nearly won the league. Oh, we're top of the league. How long did that one last, eh? Well,
Look,
we're top of the league.
It's
We
past
stay
tense,
there,
man.
people.
It's past tense. We can all talk about
Yeah,
Tottenham
I'm talking
in our
present
triumphs
tense.
and trophies, but it's the
just
here and
about
now.
2-3 months
You're
ago.
10th in the league because you're fucking shit, and that's the reason.
Yeah,
you're not 10th in the league because you're great. You're 10th because you're shit. You know, let's
And we
talk about the
still-
here and
and
now.
we still
There's no
win
point talking
trophies.
about last season. We're talking about this season. You're 10th, and Spurs are potentially could be up to 5th tomorrow if we win. That's just
That's
the way it is.
you win.
Ifs, buts, and
A
maybes.
big
There's no
if.
point talking about how Arsenal won a fucking trophy and you're shit last season. You're shit this season. You're 10th.
Mate, your whole fan base is begging for a trophy that they'll sell their soul to the devil just to win a Carabao Cup. You're celebrating and you're selling merchandise. No, you're selling merchandise that you've reached a final. You're not won it yet, and you're selling
Hold on
nuts.
here.
You're
Hold
selling
on here.
pens.
Hold
You're
on.
selling key
It's a
rings.
well-known fact, like that any club that goes to a final are selling merchandise. And to be honest with you, regardless of Spurs were in the final or not, throughout this pandemic, any club that can make a few pounds, fair play to them, be it Arsenal, Spurs, or whoever. Do you know? So I wouldn't bear any shame in that at all. Like, and fair play to Spurs trying to make a few fucking quid. And it's not just the Carabao Cup. It's a milestone. It's a stepping stone for this Tottenham team to win a trophy and move forward. You know, and we're still in the Europa League. You know, we have not a bad team. I know our centre backs are fucking shit, like, and our right back is shit. But if we can work on a couple of players next season, who knows? Who knows? So, you know, to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the Carabao Cup. I think it's a load of fucking shit. Let's be fair, like, you know, it's not like an FA Cup. But I also understand the importance of it to our club. Like, we haven't won a trophy since, I think, 2013, which was the Capital Cup. You know, so we need something. And if we win this to the final in April, you know, it could elevate us on to much more. You know, it's all about confidence. And if we win one, you know, who knows? I'm not saying we're going to win it, but I'm saying, you know, who knows, like, you know?
Lads, just before we move forward, just for people that are listening, I'm now going to introduce the voice you've just been hearing there. I'll now
5 minutes a bit fucking late, like,
for anybody wondering, this is Johnny. So Johnny has kindly come along to rep Spurs tonight. So look, Johnny, big shout out. I can already tell you're going to be an absolute banter merchant tonight. So I'm looking forward to this one. So look, thanks for coming along. Just before I bring Pat into it as well, Johnny, do you want to give us like a little bit of a background into, you know, how you became a Spurs fan? Were you dropped on your head as a child, or what happened?
No, to be honest with you, it's kind of really funny. We're at school, and in Ireland, you're either a Man United fan or you're a Liverpool fan. And there was me and two guys, and we came together and we said, look, guys, you know, we can't follow the sheep and be Man United and Liverpool because they're dominating football and all this. Like, what we're going to do is that at the weekend, we're going to go home, we're going to watch Match of the Day, and we're going to pick a club. And wherever club that we pick with, we're going to stick with. And we said, that's fine. And with Match of the Day, like, you know, the matches will go on and on and on. And you don't see any league form or league tables or any of this kind of palaver. And Spurs, Alan Sugar, he signed the German, Jurgen Klinsmann. And Jurgen Klinsmann had a reputation for diving, and every time he scored, he used to make this dive. And he scored a goal for Tottenham that weekend, and he made a dive, and I said, this is my club. And I think we were fucking 12th or something after us picking Tottenham. But I came back and told the lads, I said, I'm a Tottenham fan, and they picked one picked Blackburn, one picked Newcastle. And to this day, they're Newcastle, Blackburn, and we're Tottenham fans. So, you know, we went a bit different, like, you know, and that is the norm and reality of Irish really fan base, to be fair. Like, you know, about 70-80% of them really is either Man United or Liverpool, and then you have minority of groups broken down, like a few Tottenham, maybe a few Arsenal, maybe a few Chelsea, but it's mainly consists of Man United and Liverpool. So it's nice to be a little bit different too, like.
Yeah, definitely. So basically what you're saying is you start supporting Spurs because they're a bunch of divers.
No, because I love German.
Brilliant. And Pat, so I want to welcome Pat along. Pat is a familiar face. He has been on the show with me here before, but just again, for anybody who wasn't watching back then, Pat, do you want to give us a little breakdown as well to what happened, and what was the story with your parents allowing you to stick on a Spurs jersey?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say to Sulz, I'm sorry that he's jealous that we're in the final.
I'll send him a keyring in the post and like that.
Oh, boy,
I mean, we win trophies, mate. We don't just get to finals. We go win them.
I'll send you keyring.
Win them. In fact, when you won it last year. Don't be talking past tense. We can have about Tottenham glory days as well. You know, this is not back in Fred Flintstone's time, like back in the Stone Age.
The television was black and white.
You know, you're fucking... No, you're 10th in the league for a reason.
You can find DVDs and Blu-rays of our wings. You can find us on YouTube. They're having to convert
you can find us on ShyTube. At the end of the day, you're shy. You're 10th in the league. You're there for a reason. You're shy.
We're still bigger.
No point talking past 10th.
We're still bigger.
Bigger. You're 10th in the league. You have an assistant manager. It's like
I mean, you're 6th in the league.
Hold on, tomorrow, okay?
You're 6th in the league. How much better is that in reality?
Hold on. Right, tomorrow.
They're winning the league. We're going to win the league. We're going to win the league to go in 6th.
Hold on here. This is an interesting fact for you Arsenal fans. I don't know who you made aware of this. But if Arteta loses tomorrow with Arsenal, he'll be the first manager in Arsenal's history that's lost 3 North London derbies.
He's useless. He's an assistant manager. He's not a manager. He's an assistant manager.
That's a scary talk going in for Arsenal fans tomorrow. If Arteta loses, he'll be the first manager in Arsenal's history that's lost 3 North London derbies on the bounce. Now,
that ain't happening.
We'll see. Okay. I'll tell you one thing. Sideshow Bob will have a job in his hands trying to keep Harry Kane, Sung, Bale and Moura quiet tomorrow. And good luck to him if he can.
All you got to do is stop Kane. There is no.
You don't have to stop Kane. You've got to try that.
The minute Kane got injured, you dropped. The minute Kane got injured, you started losing.
Yeah, it's true.
That's all you've got to do is stop.
Hold on here. We had Bale. Bale has only came into form. Bale only came into form the last 4 or 5
Kane
weeks.
He's so vital to your team. If you can stop Kane,
Kane's a leader. Kane's a leader. No. There's a lot of talent there now. There's a lot of talent, and Tottenham were flying. You know, it's not just Harry Kane.
With all that talent, Kane got injured, and you dropped points. It's not a coincidence.
Look at who won the last derby?
10th in the league, mid-table club, 10th in the league. I'm just saying, tomorrow, okay, it's all about the manager. We have Mourinho. A serial cup winner. It's like a porn star against a virgin, Arteta. Like he's an assistant manager. He's useless. Mourinho is a cup winner.
He's got more trophies than Tottenham in the last how many years?
Arteta is useless. He's an assistant manager. He's a child. He's crap.
He plays better
than porn star against the virgin bar. End up.
So on that note, Pat, would you like to finish the story of how you became a Spurs fan?
Yeah, it's like what Johnny said. I'm Jeff and Johnny from the same town. I grew up. It was all Liverpool, Man United fans. I said I want to be different. I want to support a team that plays football with flair, great players. So I grew up. We had Klinsmann, we had Ginola, we had all these big names, flair football. Jose Dominguez down the wing. We had great times. Listen, that's why I've always supported Spurs because of football, and growing up, I loved them. Harry Redknapp, all my favourite players, and I always hated Arsenal because they were just Arsene Wenger. I actually just tested that man.
How could you support a club that has arse at the front of it? Like, do you know?
I know.
Like, no, can I just ask why? Well, what made you detest Wenger? Just out of curiosity.
He's just an ugly fucker. He's Liverpool.
He's too talented.
I mean, have you seen the things Mourinho said? How can you not detest that?
Look, when you're at a club, you're going to be talking rife about other clubs. Like that's just the nature of the game. Like there's no the only loyalty in football today is fans. You know, it's the same with players. It's the same with managers. You know, he bet Chelsea. Oh, I'll never manage Tottenham, and next thing then he's managing Tottenham. And if he got sacked tomorrow, he said, I'll never manage Arsenal. But if Arsenal came around, he'll join them as well. And that's just the way it is. It's money. It's a business. It's a job. Likes of us as fans, you know, we're loyal. You know, we stick to our clubs if we got relegated or whatever. But players and managers, it's just a job. That's all it is. Like, you know, this crap about loyalty, like, it doesn't lie with players. You know, the last bit of loyalty was when you look at the Man United teams, that the Ryan Giggses, the Paul Scholes, they're all gone now. They're all gone. All this now is left is just money, trophies, limelight, and that's what it is like.
Yeah, I'm just saying tomorrow, yeah, Arsenal's back four, back to whatever you play. It cannot cope with Bale, Son and Kane coming at you and more, it's gonna crumble.
Pat, if you want to talk about back fours,
You
also have to
Sanchez,
take a
Dyer,
toll.
and Davies, come on. I think you guys should be the ones who should be more scared because that is a horrific back four.
We could have no defense on the left back.
One name? You might have got Eric Diarrhea
in Europe. Never mind the league. Reguilon is an absolute brilliant player. Let's don't
compared to Girondini. Oh dear. Come on, boys. Let's get serious.
Who? Scottish football? Who? Tierney?
Only the best left back in the Premier League. In England. Only the best.
All right, lads, I'm going to do my best to try structure this in some way. This is going to be a job and a half now, this is, right? But I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. Because at the same time, we do have to bear in mind people are listening, so it has to be, what would you say, audible or whatever term you want to use, you know. So if we can, we'll all make our points, and it is going to get heated. I understand there's going to be plenty of debate, but we try our best not to all shout at the one time, so we can, you know, for the people listening to that. Look, this is already, as I said, this is banter central, and now look, I'm loving it at the moment. This is good. This is what we want. Look, bit of friendly banter or whatever you want to call it. No harm at all. But lads, before we really get into it, if we can not get into it, because I can already see this is, I'm going to be like in the middle trying to pull you apart, which is cool. But I'm going to try, as I said, structure it slightly. So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the previous form of the sides coming in, a little bit about, you know, Spurs' last couple of Premier League games, the Arsenal form, the Europa League most recently. What I'm going to do is, first of all, lads, for the two Tottenham lads, now you had a game the other night at White Hart Lane against Dinamo Zagreb, a 2-0 win. You want to give me a little bit of kind of feedback on how that went? You know, I be honest, I didn't really check the Spurs lineup. You know, was it a strong team? Had all your players out? Any injuries? I did see a picture of Harry Kane pulling the whole pretend to be injured before the North London derby with the ice pack. Maybe Johnny, do you want to give us a little bit of a breakdown of how it went down against Zagreb?
Look, to be honest with you, last night against Zagreb, it was just job done really, like for us. You know, Harry Kane, the main man again, he came up with the 2 goals. We didn't necessarily field a strong team either. Like, we're bear in mind what's coming up tomorrow. So he kept on, like the Viking back and a few other players, and Toby Alderweireld wasn't there, and there's a few of these players like that he's holding, like, for the importance of tomorrow. In the beginning, I was a bit, Zagreb were giving us a good go in the first couple of minutes, and I was saying, Jesus, this team is not as bad as I thought they were, but class showed in the end, like, and going back into next Thursday, Tottenham, be respectful to them again. They should see it through and go to the next round. Like, but the Europa League is great. It's just keep going. Like, but I wouldn't read too much really into Tottenham or Arsenal in their triumphs during midweek. Like, because let's be honest, like Olympiacos are fucking shite. No more than Zagreb. They weren't great either. Like, they're nothing. They're not teams of real significance. League form for us is. We're on a roll, really. Like, in our last 7 matches, we've got over 20 goals. We've reached over 100 goals already, like, and we've got possibly another nearly 20 odd games left to play, maybe potentially, like. So, so we're banging them away, like, our back line is brittle, like, our defense is complete shite, like, our 2 centre backs are brutal. The right back has never got resolved. Reguilon, in my opinion, is probably one of the best left backs in Europe. I really rate this guy. I think he's brilliant. He's got bags of speed. His crossing is crisp. He's just a joy to watch, like, really, when he goes bombing down the wing, like, great player. But again, it's our centre backs. Our centre backs are the problem, like, so, I don't know how it's so funny. Like, we can talk about Arsenal and Tottenham's frailties, and thinking about the summer. But let's be real. Like, we're in a pandemic. There's not going to be much money floating about. The summer is going to consist of season loans. It's going to consist of buying average players of maybe 20 to 30 million, and that's just the reality of it. But as I said to Anto before we came on, the significance is highly important for Champions League football for next season, because if Tottenham or even Arsenal, if they don't get Champions League football next season, whatever money that you put aside for the summer, you could nearly half that. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, no owner, no investor wants to pump money in to either club if there's no Champions League football. Europa League, you know, there's no money in it, like, you know, and it's all about money. It's all about, you know, our teams playing the best in Europe, the Bayern Munichs, the Barcelonas, the Juventus. You know, nobody wants to watch, you know, Arsenal play Olympiacos or fucking Tottenham play Zagreb or whoever. Like, you know, these are all Wi-Fi password name teams, like, you know, they're nothing, like, you know. So I wouldn't get carried away on that, but on the front of the Premier League, we're going very well. Like, as I said, we got 20 odd goals in our last 7 games. We reached over the 100. Gareth Bale has been absolutely brilliant in the last 5 or 6 weeks, and he's came in at the right time. You know, people go back in and were slating Jose, how come you didn't play him sooner, and all this blah. But to be honest with you, he couldn't, because he wasn't ready. Like, you know, Arteta and Jose and all these managers, they're there every day with the players to see them. And, you know, I don't know, some people might not know this, but when Gareth Bale is playing now for Tottenham, Jose is constantly talking to him. He's asking him, are you fatigued? You know, you're ready to go off, and he'll say, I'm fatigued, and then he's off. You know, straight away, boom, he's off. Because they know if they leave him on for an extra 5 minutes, an extra 10 minutes, he could be out injured for another 6 weeks. You know, and we don't want that when we got a player that special. And all fairness, lads, could just take one moment of brilliance tomorrow from him, and that could be the decider.
Yeah, well, look, definitely the one thing I will say in Tottenham's defence now, they do have those game-changing players. You know, you have Son, you do have Kane, even Gareth Bale on his day. There are plenty, and definitely as an Arsenal fan, I'm definitely respectful of the fact that there are the game-changing players. Now, we do have a few ourselves, but I'll let our lads get into it a little bit more. Just before we do kind of touch on the Olympiacos game and that, Pat, I just want to ask, you know, what's your feelings? Is it a done deal in the Europa League? Do you think, you know, Spurs are through? And, you know, what's your general feeling coming into this? Are you confident with the form that Spurs and Bale and all the guys have been showing over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it calm, yeah. So, it's basically, Spurs have turned the corner. I said this a few weeks ago. I seen it coming. They've really turned the corner now under Mourinho. Now, I will admit, I was on the bandwagon a while ago. They were saying we weren't playing well and all that. But we're really turning the corner now. Bale is playing now. The back line, Johnny, you're totally right. Even Lloris, he's not the keeper he was.
No.
But the worst player of Spurs is Matt Doherty, I think. He came back from having COVID. He hasn't played the same. Regulon, as you said, unbelievable. Sanchez, liability. Eric Dyer, I think Sulz call him Eric Diarrhea. I can't agree with that, to be honest.
He's absolute rubbish.
There's a few players there. They're just not good enough. The back line, basically, going forward, we're absolutely unstoppable at the moment. And Mourinho had just made us one word, solid. We're getting solid under Mourinho. We have a backbone now, which didn't have under Pochettino. And I think Spurs have turned the corner. Europa League, I think, it's a done deal. We're in the last 8. But there's some good teams in there, yeah. Even Rangers are still a decent team. If you're nice in there, Arsenal, you know, in Europa League, you could do it.
But the kind of team, lads, in all fairness, that you're hoping secretly not to play in the next round is Rangers. You know, of all the teams that's in it, you know, you'd say, you know, like if we lost to Milan or Roma or even Spurs, whatever, like, but Rangers, like, you know, if you lost to them, like, it'd be a tad bit embarrassing, like, because everybody's always slagging the Scottish League and saying it's fucking shit, like, you know, let's be real, compared to the Premier League. And if you got them and you lost, you know, I'd be hiding under my bed for a while anyways if it was Tottenham we lost, like, you know, I'll just be honest with you, like. But one thing I will say, Pat, about Tottenham and the defence, like, I just wonder for next season going ahead, as I brought up before with the pandemic and the COVID and how much boys, what do you think he's going to do with Jaffet or that Roden fella?
Yeah, I think Tanganga is going to come in, because he's a great player. I think he's only 19, 20, so he should come into the defence. And Roden's good. He's good with international. He came in. Now he made a mistake there a few games ago, but no, he's a good player. I think he can fit in well. We need to buy something big. The right back is a problem. Aurier gives away penalties the whole time. He's liability.
He's a liability. I fucking hate him. Fucking
and Matt Doherty. Oh, Don't get me
Oh,
started.
Jesus. Darty's absolute.
Yeah, and in
bollocks
goal,
altogether, Jesus Christ.
in goal, Lloris, and then you have Joe Hart, who's only a pensioner now at this stage. He's no good.
Lloris is kind of like Jekyll and Hyde, really. That's how I sum up Lloris. Because one match you can watch him and he's like a Peter Schmeichel. He's unbelievable. And the next match you watch him, he's a David James. He's letting balls run through his hands and through his legs. He's just totally unpredictable. People, I go back. If you go back to the World Cup final and France won, was it 4-2 or I can't remember the correct score. But you remember the ball went through his legs. And there was no talk about it. But if that game, he was just so lucky that he had 10 solid French men in front of him that saved him. Because if that was an average France team and they lost from him letting a ball go through his legs, then it would have been media hype, like, the saying that calamity fucking Lloris, like. But that was never really discussed, like, and it was just, but that's the moments in him. And I find then that his sweeping has completely stopped. He's not coming out of the box, out of his goal line as quick as he used to, and he's kind of rooting in it, like, and he's not, he's unsure of really what to fucking do, like,
We had a great keeper, Gazaniga, though, and they let him go. I don't know why, and we have Hart there now. I think it's white man, Eustace, yeah.
Well, lads, while we're on the topic of goalkeepers, we might as well. This will be a nice way to move into the Arsenal Olympiacos game, because we witnessed a pretty bad goalkeeping error, and this is 2 games in a row now. We've had a very similar error. So, look, we might as well jump straight into that one. So, Farhan, look, we'll touch on the Olympiacos game. We'll touch on the mistakes as well, Sulz. I know we've done a bit of talking about it already on your channels, both of your channels. But yeah, look, what's going on with Arsenal at the back? What's going on with Leno? While we're on the topic of goalkeepers and mistakes, and talking about pressure getting the players, and there's no bigger game for Arsenal or Spurs players in terms of pressure. So how does Arteta ensure that these errors don't come back to haunt us again in the worst game it could possibly happen?
Look, it's very difficult to talk about. It's very difficult to have a conversation with rival fans, because rival fans don't follow Arsenal the way we do. So anything that we try and justify or try and explain, it goes in one ear, comes out the other. The reality of it is Arsenal are going through a transition right now, and it's a
transition
reality
for a long time now, to be fair, Connor.
No, I was just going to get onto that. Look, it's a bit of a reality check for all Arsenal fans, and for most clubs as well in the Premier League. I mean, we're forgetting there's 2 clubs that are going through a similar sort of similar period right now in United and Arsenal, where they had long-term managers that stayed at the club, that brought them glory, ultimately built a legacy for them, and now that they're gone, it's a little bit like a ship without its captain. They're not really sure which way to turn, whether to continue with what the old manager left off or whether to rebuild something new. Arsenal, the board at Arsenal have clearly decided that we want to be building something brand new. We want a new philosophy. We want something fresh, and we know it's going to take time with Arteta. And as much mocking as you want to do, and you want to give this guy as much grief as you want to give him, let's not forget he came under the leadership of Pep Guardiola. And some of you guys might start laughing and say, "Oh, what the poster boy, the boy who put out the cones, is now sitting at Arsenal, and you think the glory days are going to come back? I mean, is this a joke?" Look, the reality of it is football is changing. There is, ever since Pep Guardiola came in, there has been a revolution in the way that teams are playing football. Playing from the back, possession, high tempo, high press. This is something that many clubs are trying to replicate, but are failing to do so. And I genuinely believe that at Arsenal right now, we are seeing a style of football being implemented that is, 1, effective, 2, attractive, and 3, showing results. And they have shown results in many games that we played this season. Unfortunately, we have been the demise of our own sloppiness, and by giving goals away at the back, by making mistakes. Put those mistakes out the window, take away the disciplinary issues. Should we be sitting 10th? I really don't think so. I think we would be just behind you guys, if not ahead. Now, granted, Tottenham have been going through a very, very good period of the season. Now they started off on a rocky boat with a manager who didn't really know how to play football. And let's get one thing straight about Jose Mourinho: the style of football that he wants to implement at clubs like Tottenham, and this is the first time that he's managed a club like Tottenham, who are, with all due respect, I'm going to be respectful here, are not an elite club. We're not talking about a Real Madrid, a Barcelona. We're not talking about, a club of that stature. No, look, hear me out. When Mourinho goes to manage a club like that, he can get away with playing his style of football because he has elite mentality players on the pitch that can graft out results. But when you're managing a club like Tottenham, you can't rely on 11 players to score a goal, then sit back for the remaining 90 minutes and try to graft out a result. And there's been a lot of criticism on the way that Mourinho's been coaching Tottenham. There's been a split in the fan base whether he should still be here or not. In my opinion, I think Mourinho's past his days. I think he's a bit of a dinosaur manager right now. I think Tottenham should have went for something a little bit bolder. I don't know why they let go of Pochettino. I think if you had kept Pochettino for another few years, the building process that he was doing at Tottenham, I was a little bit envious. I have to say, the moment that Pochettino left, I wanted him at Arsenal because I can see what he was trying to do there, and he was rebuilding something which was going in the right directions. Unfortunately, that project could never be completed. In terms of Arsenal, let me get back to Arsenal. We had a really difficult game against Olympiacos. I think we got somewhat quite lucky in the end to get the result. Olympiacos are a decent side. And by the way, Dinamo Zagreb are a decent side. We're talking about two Champions League worthy sides, two opponents that Arsenal have played in the past in the Champions League. And I'm really happy that we got the 3-1 result, because now we can fully focus on the North London derby and we can play our strongest 11 without having that second leg in our minds too much. I mean, look, the leg's not over. The game's not over yet. We've still got a second leg to play. So as you guys as well. You're only 2-0 up. Anything can happen. But I'm feeling fairly confident going into the North London derby, because I believe Arteta has the right strategy to stop a team like Tottenham who rely effectively on Son and Harry Kane to turn up. Bale's been playing well for the last few games, but he also relies on Kane, who, by the way, is an undercover Gooner, and Son as well. So two of their key strongest players that have been carrying this club forward for the last 3 seasons. And if they don't turn up, you guys are going to be in for a very, very, very long afternoon.
Yeah, lads, just in case anyone's wondering as well, I am muting mics in stages just to try structure it a little bit, just to make sure everybody gets a fair chance to say their piece and that. But at the end, I will just let it just go off the chain. You can go crazy. It'll be a free-for-all. We'll really, really get into it. We'll try to keep a little bit of structure just until the end before we go mental. Sulz, I want to bring you in now because I can see the fire burning inside you here. And again, for anyone who doesn't know, Sulz nicknamed the Fireman. He likes to go off. It's always well thought out, well structured. Sulz, I'm getting vibes here from you. You have a lot on your chest.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing Spurs. One thing I will say, right, is that in a North London derby, both teams do turn up. Like, form doesn't matter. You can be the best team in the world, right? But coming against, we've been in that position where we've been one of the best teams in the world coming against Spurs, and we grind out a result. It's gonna happen. It's one of those games where you have to be up for it. It's like it's one of the last rivalries where it is a rivalry, where you can't walk across a Spurs fan on this day. You're gonna get beaten up. I don't condone violence, but it's one of those very fiery derbies. It's one of those days where you're cautious as a fan to even go into a game. It's a bit nerve-wracking, because you're like, shit, what if I make a wrong turn, or if I go the wrong way? Things can happen. I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to say what can happen to you. But it's an amazing atmosphere. It's an amazing game. It's always one that I look forward to. Look, if you're a Spurs fan, you're never going to say Arsenal are going to beat you. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're never going to say Spurs are going to beat you, regardless of form, regardless of how better one or the other team is. I'm fairly confident. I'm never not going to be confident beating Spurs. You know, it's at the Emirates. It's our home ground. I don't care what the form is saying. I don't care how good Bale, Kane, and Son have been. I really don't care, because at the same time, we've got Bukayo Saka, we've got Kieran Tierney, we've got Bukayo. You know, we've got we've got Xhaka as well. You know, that's where it kind of goes downhill. You know, and then we've got David Luiz, and then obviously Leno's decided to become part of that as well. So you know, it's a mix of roundabouts. But if they have good games, you know what, we can actually go win this. But saying that, Arteta really needs to think about how we're going to beat them. He needs to tactically think about what's right. And I do think, you know what, one thing I will say, since the Chelsea game anyway, I feel like a lot of the setups at the beginning, he is getting right. And I know we're conceding early. I get that. But it's not a setup. It's not a system issue. It's just players lapsing in concentration. Now, even when we're talking about the Leno situation, David Seaman actually came out and done an interview and said, I would never have made that pass. You know, that goes to show elite, you know, goalkeepers would never make that mistake. That's why when the fan base are divided on that opinion, I've always said, look, in this situation, it's definitely Leno's fault, because he had 2 passes that would have made more sense to do. And I watched it frame by frame because I just wanted to see, you know, what could Leno have actually done, and what could Ceballos have done better. In my opinion, look, Ceballos had 3 players around him. He was under the pressure, way too much pressure, right, to receive a ball. I don't care who you are, you're not getting away from that, because you had El Arabi. Okay, let's say you get away from it. There was another midfielder right next to you. No matter what you did, you were in trouble. And I don't think Leno was ready to receive that ball back, because he started running back. So that is where I blame Leno on that, because he had David Luiz and Gabriel in better positions to get away from that trouble. So if, and I keep saying this week on, week out, if, right, we don't make a mistake, we can beat any team in the Premier League, because no team has come to us and absolutely played us off the park. And that includes City, and that also includes Liverpool. Because people, look, I know the Spurs fans are laughing, but I'm going to tell you, go watch our games, because no team has come and absolutely battered us. Bar maybe Aston Villa, the only game where I felt we were absolutely outclassed. And the only game I felt like we were good for 90 minutes is probably Leicester. So we're very look, we're a team that lacks consistency. The players can have, you know, a blinder of a performance and then go back to being themselves. That's the problem. You know, and there is a name I'm going to throw out. I hope to see El Neni play, because what I seen of him was exactly what Xhaka doesn't do right. He's a mobile midfielder that doesn't make mistakes. He's not a brilliant player by any stretch of the imagination. He's not one of those players you're going to sit there and tell your grandkids about. But it is a player who sits there, does the job. He's hardworking. He knows what the manager wants from him. It's none of this, you know, silliness from him. So I think it's all down to how we set up. Because if we I'm gonna say it again, if those play and if Aubameyang comes out with the mentality that I've seen from him this season, he is good as well. Can just say goodbye, because I'm getting sick and tired of backing him every single week, yeah, and him then not repaying us with any ounce of performances, because that is shocking. You got what you wanted, now you've disappeared. I gave you this season, and I've said to him, look, he will come back, he'll come good for us. But how long do we give him? And if the players come out with that mentality against when we conceded after Burnley, you may as well hand your resignation, and you may as well say we're no longer Arsenal players, because you don't deserve to wear the jersey. The mentality, I want to see fight. I want to see passion, because that is what this game is built upon. And I'm guessing the Spurs fans are going to say the same about their players. If they're not showing that desire of fire in a game like this, they're good as well can just walk out the club, because this is the game where you become a hero, and this is the game you can become a villain.
Yeah, that's it. So it's 100%. And yeah, look, like we were sort of saying, myself and Johnny were talking before we went live. I'm going to bring Johnny in next, actually. And yeah, look, personally for me, look, there's a bit of added spice to this fixture, because not only is it the North London derby, it's, you know, the biggest rivals, the old enemy, Tottenham. It's a Mourinho Tottenham. And in the past, you know, we've had so many defeats to Jose Mourinho teams, and look, I'm not ready for another one. We need this to be put to bed. Johnny, what way are you expecting Mourinho to set up tomorrow? Do you think? I honestly think, yeah, I want to get your opinion, but I honestly think Mourinho has zero respect for Arsenal. Now, largely down to the fact that, I'm not saying it's because he's Tottenham manager, he's got so many wins against us, such a good record. Is he going to take this game for granted tomorrow? Do you think he's going to go in maybe a little overconfident, thinking, it's only Arsenal, I always get a result against Arsenal? What way are you expecting him to set up?
No, I don't think he'll go in at that. He understands the importance of it. Derby and rivalry aside, you look at Tottenham in the league, and if we win tomorrow, we're only, I think, 2 points off fourth, and we have a game in hand as well. I think Chelsea up there and currently fourth. Jose Mourinho, all his teams, the way he sets them up and the counter-attack and the defense and all this palaver, and you cannot be disrespectful of it because of what he's won. He's won these trophies for a reason. He knows what he's doing. Now, he came to Tottenham, he tried to implement that with the Tottenham team, and for the first course of the season, Tottenham were top of the league for 7 or 8 weeks and top, and then we crumbled. We crumbled, and he was trying to go back into that mold again of trying to reshape our defense. He was constantly mixing our 2 centre backs because he cannot trust them. They're totally unreliable. And, he's came to the conclusion now that, what he wants to do with Tottenham, he cannot currently do. He cannot trust his 2 centre backs. He cannot trust his right back. He cannot trust his keeper. Then what's he going to do? You look at the top end of the field, that's, the shining light of it all. We've Harry Kane, we've Bale coming into form, we've Song, we've Lucas Moura, and he just rolled the dice. I think the last couple of weeks he's been under massive pressure because it's not just, it's one thing about losing, but when results are not going your way and you're not playing particularly well, fans seem to latch onto that and they focus more about it. Fans are going to be looking at that and say, Jesus, it's one thing losing, but lose with a bit of fight, lose with a fucking bit of passion, a bit of play, hit a post or, make something happen. And that wasn't happening because our attack was kind of deregulated, we're holding, we're talking, get a goal up, and the next thing then we sit back. And next thing then the opposition score a goal, and we're kind of, what the fuck do we do? But I think he came under so much pressure in the last couple of weeks from fans, and it's a good job the fans weren't there because he would have got booed out of it. So he knew that, going forward, I'm here at the end of the rope, really. If I play the players that the fans want to see, and if we lose, we lose. At least they say we went out with a bang, and so far it has worked. The players have come in. He had to be very careful with Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale, everybody expected so much from him, myself included, when he came to Tottenham again for the second time. But he had no pre-season. He had no full season after that because all he was doing at Real Madrid was sitting on a bench and going playing fucking golf, And then he put up a big flag saying, golf, Wales, and then Real Madrid in that order, and that didn't do any favours. But he just had enough. He wanted to leave. But I think money came into it again because he's on colossal wages. I think he's on over 600 grand a week. And I think from what I've been reading about the deal with Tottenham is that Tottenham are paying 2 and Madrid are paying 4. So, it's a lot of money, but it's cotton wool with him because, as I said to you early on, is that when he's playing, Jose's constantly communicating with him now. He's saying, are you fatigued? Are you fatigued? Next thing then he goes off. He'll never do 90 minutes, which is a shame. He's a special, special player. I think going into tomorrow, I think, something is good. Why change it? I think he'll run with the top 4. To be honest with you, people go on about Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, and Song. Song's kind of dipped a bit. But I've been really impressed with Lucas Moura in his new role in the centre. And if you watched there the last week, how he was like a fucking dog on a bone. How he won that fucking ball for Kane, and Kane crossed it in for Harry. He's the danger man. Don't make no mistake about it. This guy is the danger man. Now, he cannot score, as good as the other lads, but this guy makes something happen. He's going to be a constant terrier tomorrow. You're not going to give your backs a chance to breathe. And he's got a bag of pace. He's got a bag of pace. I think Tottenham will go into tomorrow with the top 4. He'll probably go in with Sanchez and Toby Alderweireld in the back, Reguilon on the left. right back, to be honest with you, I know me and you said it, Gohan, but he'll probably run with fucking Darcy because Darcy's been playing for the last couple of weeks. I don't personally rate him, and I personally don't rate Aurier. But if I had to pick between the two, I go with Aurier because he's a bit more pace and he might make something happen. But the only thing about him is that he's a liability. Like, an Arsenal player like Saka go down the wing and he could give away a fucking penalty or a free kick or a handball. There's that level of stupidness in him, and you cannot trust him. You cannot trust Hugo Lloris, as I say, it's like our best foot forward going into this derby and for the course of the whole season is just attack and see how that plays out. Like, I'm very disappointed in Dele Alli. I have to say, I expect so much off the guy, but people were quick to say it was down to Jose Mourinho. It wasn't. Dele Alli hasn't really turned up in a Tottenham shirt for the last 3 fucking years. He went from low league level football into the fucking bright lights of the Premier League. He got his money, his fame, his popularity. And to be honest with you, when I look at him now, I said it so many times through Tottenham forums, he reminds me an awful lot of David Bentley. Do you remember David Bentley was at Blackburn and he was tipped to be the next fucking David Beckham and he joined Spurs and, he just went downhill ever since and then he was into modelling. Dele Alli's kind of going in that path and it's a great shame because the guy, when his head is right, he's walking into that England team. He is walking into that England team and he's the kind of guy that he can just do something magical and it could change the course of the game. But he hasn't been seen for the last 3 seasons. How long do you keep with him? How long, how much of a value have you got on him? How much, if we sold him in the summer, how much could we get from him? Some Tottenham fans are looking at, Jesus, if we sold him to Paris Saint-Germain, the love of Pochettino has, and we got in maybe someone else, it's good and well, all these theories, but we're in a pandemic, we're in a fucking COVID, there's no money floating about the place, and you see, throughout the summer, it's going to be the same as in January transfer window. It's going to be loan signings and it's going to be buying average players for both clubs for 20 or 30 million. But the saving grace is Champions League football. It's paramount for both clubs. If Tottenham don't get Champions League football next season, we're fucked. If Arsenal don't get Champions League next season, you're fucked as well. And the reason why I'm saying that, because it's going into the course of the summer, your board sees Arsenal as a cash cow. It's as simple as that. If Arsenal Football Club is not making money for your owners, he has no heat. There's no love there for Arsenal. There's no desire there for Arsenal. He's concentrating on NFL. He's concentrating on getting money over there and the whole palaver. Arsenal is a cash cow for the crankiers, and that is running your board. And if Arsenal go into the end of the season, and if they haven't won Europa League, or they haven't got top 4, which, let's be frank, you're not going to get top 4 in the league, lads. Your best foot forward is Europa. And to be honest with you, I'm swinging the same way too with Europa as well. I'm not a fan of Europa League football. I think it totally takes an awful lot out of you. You're playing on the Thursday, you have to play then on the Sunday. You're constantly rotating. The form's not going to be right. The money's not there in the competition. It's a fucking brutal fucking competition, let's be frank. But if you get to that final, if you win it, the Champions League is there, the money is there, you can roll it into your club again, you can buy maybe 1 or 2 promising players, and it'll help in due course. But as I say, if there's no Champions League football next season for either club, just fucking forget about it. Just absolutely forget about it. Just coming back here on a point again, Gunnar was on about their Pochettino and giving more time and the whole lot. Bullshit. Let's talk fucking real here. He was at Tottenham for 5.5 seasons. He's won absolutely nothing. He got Tottenham into the Champions League final, and the man that got him there into that final, he didn't even play him. He didn't even play him. Tottenham went on a course of 11 to 12 months. We hadn't won away from home. We were down 14th in the league, and we were just losing to anyone. And if you put out a pub league team against that Pochettino team at that time, we would have lost. It was declining. And Levy had to make the right choice, and the right choice was to terminate his contract. Now, people go on about, the next up-and-coming manager. This is Tottenham. We have done this. It's the same thing over and over with our club. We had the Pochettinos, the promising Pochettinos. We had the Villas-Boas. You know, we went down that path, and it hasn't worked. So this is the first time in Tottenham's career, in Tottenham's history, where we've got a manager that has a CV that meets that criteria. You know, we've got a manager that has won loads of trophies. He's won at every club he's went to. Even when he was at Man United, and people say, "Oh, he failed at Man United." He didn't fail at Man United. He got Man United to the highest league position since Alex Ferguson. He won 3 pieces of silver with Man United. He's only at their club for 2.5 seasons, and he got sacked when United were 6th. They finished that season in 6th. So people saying he failed. He didn't. People don't, are not putting into context of this Man United team now. It's not the Man United team of the Alex Ferguson days. They're different. They're different. You had one that was regularly winning Premier Leagues. Now you have a team that's struggling to get into top 4. So he did a great job there with Man United. I felt that he did. And if he won just the Europa League with Tottenham this season, the fans are on about, will be on about putting a fucking statue outside our stadium. Let's be real here. We're a club that hasn't won a trophy since was it 2008? Is it? This is the last one. The won the Capital Cup. We regularly failed in finals and semi-finals and that. And as I say to you, I'm not a fan of the Carabao Cup. I think it's a load of fucking shite. But it's a stepping stone for our club. If Tottenham win this final, I'm not thinking about, oh, we won the Carabao Cup. I'm thinking about, right, Harry Kane, the boys have got a trophy now, might elevate them on, kick on again. And if Tottenham are still in the Europa, go for it. If you look at the Europa League, in all fairness, is there really many good teams really left within it? I don't really. I'm looking at these teams, and I'm not being disrespectful, really, but I'm just looking at them, and I don't really fear anyone. I don't, as a Tottenham fan, I don't really fear any of these teams in it. I think Tottenham on the day when them 4 lads are on form, we can beat, practically anyone. Jose Mourinho has this winning mentality with our club. People talk about, Tottenham got in the Carabao Cup final, and all we played was Chelsea in penalties, but he got us there, and he has that knack for actually getting to finals, and when Mourinho gets to finals, he don't lose many finals, So I'm going in there with a bit of confidence with Tottenham in regards to the final with Man City. I think tomorrow, he's going to be totally respectful to Arsenal. Let's be frank here. We're going into the Emirates, our record in the Emirates is not that strong. Arsenal have a good record there. But he's going to rely heavily on the 4. It's going to be awful interesting to see tomorrow how Arteta deploys his team. If Arteta goes at Tottenham like he did at our stadium, Arsenal will lose. Because you're going to play right into his hands. You're going to lose, and we're going to hit you on the counter-attack. And if we hit you on the counter-attack within 4, you're in trouble. So if you look the way that Leicester, when they play at Tottenham, very clever. Very, very clever. They were making Tottenham be the counter team, the attacking team, and then Tottenham didn't like it and Tottenham lost. So it's going to be interesting. But knowing Arteta, the way he plays, Arsenal are probably going to going home. But Jose is going to rely heavily on the front 4. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be interesting. But, just for 1 second, I know the importance of tomorrow. I know the importance of the rivalry with Tottenham and Arsenal. My head is not in the clouds here. But let's be real for 1 second. This game tomorrow is all to do with, in my opinion, pride. I really think it is. I don't think Arsenal is going to get top 4 if they beat Spurs tomorrow, and I don't think Tottenham is going to get top 4, even though we're not far away from it. The eyes have been drawn to the Europa League, and if I go back prior to the Wolves match with Jose Mourinho, he turned around and he said to the lads, if you beat Wolves and we get Europa League football next season, I promise you we'll win the Europa League. And that spurred Spurs on to beat Wolves, and we're in the Europa League. So, we're going to go all out in that one, But I think tomorrow, personally, I think it's just a pride match. We've bet you already this season. So, whatever happens, it happens for tomorrow. But I just honestly, side. I think tomorrow it's more to do with pride. I think it's more to do with pride, and it should be a good game. And I hope to see a lot of goals in it too, because let's be real, Arsenal's backline is shit, Tottenham's backline is shit, and Arsenal are good at the top, and so are Spurs. So it's going to be interesting in that way. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out tactically. But I was always in the Jose camp. I was always with the guy because I respect what he has won. I respect what he was trying to do with Tottenham. I respect what he's trying to do now with Tottenham. And these things take time. Like, you got to remember, Jurgen Klopp was at Liverpool, and it was about 5 odd years before they actually won anything.
Yeah.
So
look, Johnny, I'm just gonna just because we're kind of running out of time here a little bit, so I just want to bring the lads in a little bit. So I just want to bring Farhan in and just kind of get your thoughts as well. Look, we've got plenty of Spurs. What we think Spurs are going to do, how they're going to set up. Now I think we need a little bit of Arsenal as well, because look, let's be fair, it is an Arsenal team podcast as well. So look, have to bring the boys in. Need to get the Arsenal perspective as well. So it is great getting the Spurs side of it, because as I always say, I do love bringing in fans from the rival side, hearing their bits. And yeah, look, so Farhan, what way are you expecting Arteta to go into this game?
Look, it's going to be a very, very interesting game. I think Johnny put it really, really well, that it will be a game of tactical analysis to see how both managers approach it. I genuinely believe that Arteta will be... Arteta, for me, has shown, if there's one thing that he's shown me, which has given me a lot of confidence in him, is his ability to work teams out, approach games, and tactically know the most appropriate way to set up an Arsenal side to play their opposition. I think he would have done his homework on Jose Mourinho, having played him at Tottenham's ground and having lost. Having said that, I also think that Jose Mourinho will cautiously approach this game, and he'll not want to lose to Arteta. He will not want to lose to Arsenal, and he'll want Tottenham to go on and try and get the top 4, because they've been on a great run of games of late. They're getting the best out of Bale. They're getting the best out of Kane and Son, whilst Kane's fit. Son as well. I mean, one of them, if they lose one of them, is usually 50% deficit in the performances that they give. And look, that's I don't mean to have a sly dig at Spurs, but the reality is Son and Kane carry a lot of what Tottenham deliver at the top. And I think we've got two similar sides here, just as Johnny said, at the back. There's plenty of errors at our defense. I don't think that we have a poor defense. I think we have a defense that's prone to making a lot of mistakes, and they're just not able to grasp the concept of playing from the back as of yet. Whereas Tottenham, on the other hand, just don't have the quality at the back, unfortunately. And I say that with all respect. I think Doherty's been poor. I think you need an upgrade there at the back with Sanchez. Alderweireld is a decent centre back, but you're only relying on him, really. So like you said, with your keeper as well, there is a shaky Spurs back line. So if I'm Arteta, and if I'm going into this game, I'm going into this game with the mindset that I want Spurs to feel confident, and I want them to be as comfortable in the game as possible, because that's when we're at our most dangerous. Any team that plays against us who are overconfident, who like to push men forward, who like to play with a high line, we've been coached to deal with that. And you only need to look at the Southampton game. We lost in the FA Cup, but in the league, we beat them, was it 3-1? And Arteta tactically, the way the boys were set up was absolutely perfect. I'm hoping that Harry Kane, Son and Bale feel confident against our back 4, because I think Arteta will tell the boys at the back to sit tight. This is going to be a bit controversial, but I think if Arteta plays a high line, he will get the best out of those boys at the back, because playing a high line means that you're going to give Son and Bale and Kane all the freedom to get balls over the top and to get them legs running as quickly as possible. Now, if I'm hoping that Cedric starts on the right-hand side and I'm hoping that Tierney start on the left, if Cedric and Tierney are man-marking Son and Bale, then I think with the defensive ability that we have at the back with Cedric and Tierney, they have all the ability to counter any sort of attack that Bale and Son pose. Now it's going to be tough because we're talking about elite players here, world class. And I'll put it out there. You know, Spurs have one of the best attacks in Europe. It doesn't take a genius to work that out with the number of goals, with the number of the chances created in the final third. But if we play a high line, it's a very risky approach. But I think it's one that could pay off, because playing a high line means that you're not allowing players like Kane and Son in the just outside of the box area where they're most dangerous. You only need to look back at what happened at White Hart Lane with Son scoring an absolute screamer. I don't want them anywhere near our penalty box, because that's where they're most dangerous. So play a high line, be bold, be ballsy, but keep it structured, keep it organized, and keep it tight. If you can keep the ball around the central midfield area and the center circle, I think with Granit Xhaka and Partey, they have all the qualities, all the ability in the world to control and dictate the pace of a game. I rate Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg is good. I also rate Ndombele as well. But I think when they're up against players like Partey and Xhaka, Xhaka not being the best individual player, but when he's playing alongside someone like Partey, the partnership we've seen has worked, and we've seen the danger that they pose when they're playing up against opposition teams. It's worked, and they're 9 times out of 10 they're able to maintain dominance in the midfield. And it's going to be battle of the attacks with whoever's playing. I mean, me personally, I'd like Lacazette to play up front with Pepe on one side and Saka on the other side. But if it's Aubameyang playing alongside with Saka and even Willian, and we've seen Willian pick up form in the last few games, it will be a very, very interesting game to see how both attacking sides approach this game. Because if one attacking sides, they're going to be bold and confident, and they're going to throw everything at the other goalkeeper, then it's going to go two ways. You're going to get a hatful of goals, or you're going to get a team that's going to be closed down early, and Arsenal or Tottenham will play the counter attack, and it's going to be an entertaining game. And I think as a neutral fan, this will be a game where you get your popcorn out, put your feet up, and then just enjoy 90 minutes of good football, I hope.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Farhan. Sometimes we've seen in the past games that are really, really overhyped. Like I'm thinking of Man City, Man United early in the season. I think it was a 0-0 draw. Was so built up, understandably so, and my God, if ever a game failed to deliver. Just before I bring Sulz in and get his thoughts, I just want to throw this out to Pat and bring it in, because you're looking a bit lonely there. So I just want to kind of pick your brain on. Look, we've mentioned, like Farhan has mentioned, all the attacking talent. You've got Kane, you've got Son. You've got Lucas Moura, as Johnny said. From our end, when he's on form, you've got Aubameyang, we've got Bukayo Saka, Lacazette, Pepe, whoever you want to play. Definitely, it seems that it's going to be a game for the attacking players. But at the same time, are you expecting, is it going to be a moment of magic from somebody like Bale, Kane, Aubameyang, whoever, or is it going to be a moment of madness from a David Luiz or a Hugo Lloris? How is this game going to be won and lost? Is it going to be errors or moments of genius?
I think it's going to be counter-attacking football from both teams. We're going to be playing from the back. Both teams are. Because with the flair, I hate to say it, and Farhan, you were very complimentary there in some places, so respect to you. Thanks for that. You weren't slagging Spurs off. That's not too bad. But no, I think it's counter-attacking football. I think Spurs are more going up front. We have, as Farhan said, we have one of the best strike force in Europe. At the back, we're an absolute disaster. I'm really worried about that. I'm not sure what he said about Arteta doing a kind of masterclass on Mourinho when Arteta couldn't even do a masterclass on Sean Dyche and Burnley. Anyway, I won't get into that. But I had to get that in. Sorry. But Spurs, I think hand down, it's going to be a Spurs win. I can't say actually Tierney. Yeah, it's not about Tierney. He's absolutely world class. He's absolutely brilliant. I say him and Robertson are the two best defenders in the Premier League at the moment. Absolutely brilliant. David Luiz liabilities like the rest of the Spurs defense. But I think saying that though, Luiz has showed a few moments of magic, surprisingly enough, in a few games. He's kind of one of those players where he plays really badly and then he plays unbelievable. So I don't know what the story with him is. But no, I think it's going to be counter-attacking football from both ends. I can't see a massive scoreline. I think Arteta and Mourinho are very cautious managers. They're not going to go all-out attack. If it was Pochettino, he probably would. But I just want to go on a point that Johnny made about Dele Alli. Johnny, you're totally right. Dele Alli, is his attitude that absolutely stinks. I was on an Instagram live where Dele Alli went on a live, and he was supposed to bring people on, talk to them. And one person didn't join. He threw his toys out the pram and he left the live. It's an absolute disgrace. His attitude stinks. Let's forget about him. But yeah, as counter-attacking football, I can see a Spurs win. I think it's going to be 3-1 Spurs.
Confident man. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is look, just before we wrap it up, I want to bring Sulz in, just get his thoughts on how Arteta is likely to set up and who he'd like to see brought into the side. Sulz, look, we're just off the back of that Olympiacos game. Yeah, we got 3 goals. We got 3 away goals as well. But look, let's be fair. This game is about pride. I think it's fair to say, I don't think we're being pessimistic, but it's not looking like with the league form we're showing this season, whether we can really sustain, a top 4 challenge, I feel is completely out the window. A top 6, we're dependent on us being very consistent and a lot of sides being very inconsistent. So again, Europe, our most realistic shout is probably Europa League. What way do you expect Arteta to go into this? Because if ever there's a game you cannot just throw to one side, no matter whether you have the Champions League final up next, you've got to go for this game because, as I said, this game is treated like a cup final, irrespective of league position or what it actually means in the long run. You cannot afford to not take this game serious. So what way are you expecting Arteta to approach this one?
I think there's going to be a lot to learn from this game as much as we're going to learn, and I think we're going to learn about Spurs as well, because I do think there's an element of overconfidence. There's going to be that because of the form they're on. I feel like because they convincingly, let's be honest, right, beat us, at the White Hart Lane, if I think that's what it's called anyway, when they beat us 2-0.
I think it's called the Toilet Bowl, isn't it? Not called the Toilet Bowl?
Stadium.
Or Shy Hart Lane, whatever it is, there's plenty of names we can give it. But I'm only I'm messing aside, right? But they did convincingly beat us. We didn't look like we could get a goal. They did class us in that game, and I feel like there might be a bit of confidence coming into this, and that's what I like. I want them to come with that, because when teams come overconfident, they can mess up a lot more. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just hoping that that's the approach they take, because that will fall right into the hands that we need them to go towards. Now, the way I want Arteta to set up, I want him to set up the way he has done. I don't want him to do anything, new. I don't want him to try anything, because the system we're playing is working. And I know the results haven't really come, but that's because we lack that sort of, just that one, sort of 5% of quality within our team, whether that's sort of attacking, whether that's defending, because we're not finishing our chances. That's the main thing that we're now seeing that makes us suffer in games, because we could be 3 goals up in a game before any of our mistakes even come into question. And that's part of the problem now, because Saka's getting chances that he should be burying. Aubameyang's getting chances he should be burying. Odegaard got a chance where he did a Pepe really, but he managed to get some contact on the ball. So we are having to now, if we can take our chances when they come, because they're not going to come very much, because Spurs are a team that like to sit back and they have their attackers go forward. Their defense tends to stay back. They're not a very sort of defensively attacking team that's going to put in a high line or anything like that. I'm not saying so much Parker bus tactic, but it is very much so very deep. Now, how you break that it's not very difficult, because Spurs showed us that against Burnley. They did that very well. And I've always said off-the-ball movement is more key to the on-ball movement. It's not about, it's about creating space for the player on the ball. Now, the way that happens is if you have players like Tierney, when you have players like Cedric, and when you have players like Odegaard, because they occupy spaces that are so different to the pitch that they drag and magnetize players to them. Now, if we can do that, we open up a lot more chances for ourselves, because we're now dragging players out. And I don't think they're competent enough to understand what they're doing sometimes, and that's with our defense as well, because we're very much so ball watchers. We're both teams where our defenses aren't clever. So if the attackers can make that, utilize that, but by bringing the width from your wing backs, let your inside forwards come narrow, let your number 10 occupy the side of the ball, and let the centre back follow them, we start to create space, and we've seen that happen. That's when those inside forwards can start making those potent runs into the box. That's when you've got the wing backs who can then deliver a ball. If Cedric and Taney play, that's where it's going to be very dangerous, because you've got options. And I do think Mourinho's going to say, look, if Cedric is playing and Taney's playing, watch them. Because you'll start to realize really quickly, if you don't watch for them, you're going to concede a lot of goals, because the ball delivery of those two players is magnificent. So you have to watch for them, and that's going to play into our favour, because we can then use them as decoys. And it's all about whether Arteta can tell them, look, these are the sort of signs you've got to start picking up on. If you can pick up on the fact that they're dragging, they're going to follow you because you're now creating width from your wing backs, it's going to start opening spaces. And and that's all it comes down to, is how Arteta sets this team up and tells this team Spurs are going to play. Because there's a lot of, similarities within the two teams. We've got a shit defense, but both of us have a decent attack. Obviously, they've got a much better attack. But our attacks are what make our team, not our defenses. And I think that's for both teams. We've both got a good midfielder that you can sit there and say, you know what, like, for example, they've got Højbjerg and we've got Partey. We're both confident with, that are going to give us a performance. The others may be in and out of form. You're not going to say Xhaka is going to play every single game and he's going to play 10 out of 10. But with Partey, you're pretty much getting that. I think from the Spurs fans, you're going to say, Højbjerg is going to give you an 8 to a 10 performance pretty much every single game. But from their other midfielders, I'm not 100% sure whether you're going to get that. So we're both in a similar situation where our strengths lie in the same areas. Now, both our defenses are shit, and we have to take advantage of theirs, and they're so going to take advantage of ours. So it's all down to the lineup, team select, and I'm going to trust Arteta before, like a lot of people haven't been doing, because I do think he's going to know how to set up, and I don't think he's going to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, well, look, like I said, there's some brilliant points there tonight. And yeah, it's an exciting prospect anyway tomorrow. And yeah, keep my fingers crossed that it is, the game that we hope it's going to be. I'm hoping it's like an old school derby. The players go out there fired up, like I keep saying, like treat it like a cup final. That's what we want to see. Neither of us want to lose, the Spurs fans, the Arsenal fans. But as we did say a little bit earlier, as long as you get a performance that you say, look, they gave absolutely everything, they died on their shield, you can live with it. Like, you don't want to go out there and see something like, especially from an Arsenal point of view, what we saw the last couple of games, an absolutely ridiculous error giving the game away, you know what I mean? So we want it to be a fiery, old school kind of a derby, and look, hopefully it's an absolute cracker of a game. So look, I just want to give a big shout out to everyone who came on the panel here tonight. Really do appreciate the insight. Really appreciate the time that you took to come on, and it's been great. There's been plenty of banter. I do apologise that I've had to mute the mics a little bit. I just trying to make it a little bit easier for the people listening, so we're not all shouting over each other. Look, we might all have to meet up when all this COVID stuff is over, and we'll all go out for a pint, and we can all throw plenty of abuse at each other from across the bar. It might be an easier way of doing it. But yeah, look, big shout out to Pat and Johnny for coming on. Big shout out for Farhan and Sulz, as always. Big shout out to everybody who took the time to watch, liking the video, subscribing, throwing comments out. Really, really do appreciate it. And just before we wrap up, I'm going to go around one by one and just get a score prediction. So Farhan, I'm going to start with yourself.
As terrible as we've been this season, and as good as Spurs have been this season, I cannot in my wildest of dreams ever consider losing to these lot. If it happens, by some stroke of a miracle, it happens. But I can't envisage a team with such poor winning mentality to beat us. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to the Arteta boys. And I'm going to go with Pepe and Aubameyang getting the big goals.
I love it, and I love how you're trying to entice us with a bit of extra banter at the end. You're trying to make it a bit more heated as we're trying to wrap up. And this is going to go on another half hour now, isn't it? So, Sulz, usually the man that brings the fire. I'm expecting absolutely nothing less. And as I said, this is probably going to get the Spurs fans here talking. So yeah, we might be in for another half hour, 45 minutes. What are you thinking?
We've got to win. You know, no. And look, I'm gonna sleep nice. I don't care. Like, you know, I'm not worried about Spurs. I'm never. You know, this is gonna be all right for us. You know, look, we're the shit team. Don't forget. That's what they've been saying to us. We're the shit team. So the pressure's on them. If we win, fucking brilliant, innit? If we lose, well, we're shit, aren't we? So does it really matter? So that's what I am going to say to them, because that's what they've been saying to us. So if you don't win, lads, I mean, you just lost to a shit team. That's all I've got to say on that bit. But you know what? Their stadium looks like a toilet made for a giant. You know, just look at it. Like they copied us. You know, they had the same architects. You know, they're literally dreaming to be us. You know, that's their dream. They want to be winners, but they can't do it. Because, you know, they've got the mentality and the DNA of ball jobs. But on the scoreline, I think it's going to be 3-1 because I don't think we can keep a clean sheet. And I think, Farhan, mate, you're going to be Mr. Optimistic. You're going to take the title away from me because 2-0, I think we're going to concede for sure. I just don't, because that's what wakes us up. So I think Granit Xhaka just score an own goal just so that's done, you know, and then we could just wake up and go batter them, because it seems like that's what we need to do sometimes to win. But you know what? This game is going to be good, man. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I think a 3-1. And I think Pat said, right, it wasn't going to be a good scoreline, and then goes and says it was 3-1. I think that is a pretty high scoreline for a game. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. You're muted.
I am in amongst muting everybody. I also mute myself because I am fair. I'm a fair host, so I even mute myself. So yeah, Pat, what do you think about tomorrow?
I want to say, first of all, Arsenal fans, Arteta is doing this thing. He's saying trust the process. That's just giving him more time in the job. So you're absolutely delusional to think he's a good manager. He's saying trust the process, aka give me a bit more time. I'm going to lose a few more games. You guys went on a losing streak, yeah. You celebrated a draw with Southampton like you won the Champions League. How embarrassing is that? Oh my God, that was the cringiest thing I've seen. Arsenal fans celebrating a draw with Southampton like a Champions League final. Wow, I'd hate to be you guys. Anyway, that's shocking. Basically, what Sulz said there sums it all up. We have Xhaka. Are you for real? He's doing all he does is score own goals and get red cards. You have Xhaka. That's like us saying we have Matt Doherty. Oh my God, that's embarrassing, man. Okay, anyway, score predictions: 3-1 Spurs. Arsenal, your embarrassment. And by the way, you're slagging off Tottenham Hotspur Stadium like a toilet. Yours like a library, and you have to get a player you hated to pay Gooner Sulz's wages. The poor guy. I want to give him a hug. 3-1. See you later.
And I'm almost afraid to unmute Johnny's mic now. I know, but lads, look, in fairness, before we get into it now, look, everybody has been a good sport here tonight, and look, at the end of the day, it's just a bit of banter. But yeah, Johnny, what are you saying about tomorrow?
Look, Chris, Arsenal are fucking shite. Let's just not fucking beat about the bush. You're You're worse than shite. You're dog shite. You're 10th in the league. You're on about, oh look, we won a fucking cup, fucking Fred Flintstone time. Just fucking forget about it. It's the here and now that matters. Like, you know, you go on about Tottenham Stadium, like you're replicating Arsenal. We spent £1 billion. Arsenal didn't spend not even half that on their fucking stadium. We got an NFL football pitch as well. You know, we've built state-of-the-art stadium. It's the best in the world. You know, we are moving in the right steps, in the right direction. We've got fucking Jose Mourinho. Like, you people go on about Arteta, and this do make me laugh about Arsenal fans. Like, this shows you how fucking messed up they are in their own fucking heads, God love them. You know, Gunner's going around, he's saying Arsenal's going to win tomorrow 2-0. Are you telling me that fucking Sideshow Bob is going to keep fucking Harry Kane, Son, Bale, Moura quiet? you're on crystal meth, mate. You're on crystal meth, or you're not taking your right medication, or there's something seriously mentally disturbed about you, which I worry about you. Because how could you say that them Tottenham front line is not going to get a goal tomorrow? It's
Bottle
just a
jobs.
farce. It's
They're
just an
bottle
absolute
jobs.
farce.
They're bottle jobs. They
Bottle
won't.
jobs.
They won't show up on the big day. On the big day, they won't show up. They won't show up.
Absolute shite. Bottle jobs me hold. Look, you're talking about this Tottenham team. We've got a winner. We've got a winner as a manager. We're going places. And I guarantee you, come into the season, Tottenham might have not one. We might have 2 trophies in our cabinet.
Oh dear.
And I fully trust and faith in Jose Mourinho. And you got to remember, if Arteta loses tomorrow at Arsenal, he'll be the first manager in Arsenal's history that's lost 3 London derbies in a row.
When he loses.
Right? Yeah, and you got to remember, we're going in tomorrow and we're full of confidence. And I'm here and I'm listening there and you're saying, oh, I hope we play a high line. A high line? Are you mad? Are you seriously fucking mad? You want to play a high line against Bale, Mora, Son? Are you free? Do you think Sideshow Bob is going to have a chance? Oh my God. Do you think Sideshow Bob is going to have any chance against that?
Listen, Sideshow Bob's a decent player. He's got good performances in him, by the way.
Look, all Arsenal are is a retirement home because anyone that's past playing goes to Arsenal. You look at
Willian, the same thing. Willian absolutely use it. He's a has-been. And this party you're raving about, what do you pay for him? 75 million. I wouldn't pay €75 for him.
50 actually.
That was Pepe.
Hold on here. Look at you got Sideshow Bob and you got Will.i.am the singer joining fucking Arsenal to make up your team. That's how fucking shy.
They've still got more trophies than your whole club. They've got more trophies. They're winners. They're winners.
Johnny, can I ask you a serious question?
We've got a manager for the first time in our history that has an impressive CV. He's won everything in the game. He's won Champions Leagues in 3 different fucking countries. You know, he knows what he's at. He knows what he's doing, and he will get the best out of it. He will get the best out of this Tottenham team. I guarantee you, Tottenham will win trophies, whether you admit to it or not. Arteta, all he is for Arsenal, and Arsenal fans deny this. He's a yes man. That's all he is. He'll sit down like a little lapdog, and the board will say, "Right, this is what you're going to do."
I'll take a yes man that's winning trophies.
Yes, man. It was look it. You bet Man City in the final. It was just luck. It was just absolute luck.
Oh where's your luck then? If it's so lucky, where's yours? You're still waiting for it.
As I told you, we went from pretenders to a man that is a champion. We went with the Villas boys. We went with the Pochettinos. These guys that are the next incoming creme de la
dinosaur. Dinosaur.
Mourinho
can't win trophies no more. He can't coach teams anymore. Mourinho's retiring at Spurs. That's what he's doing. He's retiring. He wants to stay in London. Chelsea won't take him. Arsenal won't take him. So he came to Tottenham. That's what happened.
Can't afford him. All Arsenal can do.
He wanted to come to Arsenal.
He said, nah, mate. Will.i.am the singer, Sideshow fucking Bob. That's your fucking team. You honestly think that you're going to keep this Tottenham team? You're mental. You're absolute mad. This is going to be a whitewash. I mean, an absolute whitewash. We're going to go to your stadium tomorrow, and we're not going to beat you. We're going to absolutely destroy you and make no conclusion otherwise. You should be. If I was in your bed now, lads, you should be pissing the bed tonight because there'd be that much fear of this.
Can I just say one thing quickly?
I fear Fulham more than I fear Tottenham.
Shit.
By the way.
No. Wait. For a team that's meant to be so shit in Arsenal, right?
Yeah, sure.
You do give a crap, don't you? We're meant to be shit, and you're this determined that we're something small. You're caring about us a lot for a shit team. I don't care this much about Burnley or Fulham, nor Brighton. There's a lot of passion coming that you're playing a shit team here. All I'm gonna say, right? Look, we're the shit team. The pressure's off us. If we win, fucking fantastic. We've just fucking won a team that's meant to win the league. Yeah, if we lose, we're shit. So we're winning either way.
Look, I had a feeling the passion was going to come through right at the end, and I wasn't left disappointed anyway. But look, the beauty of these conversations is this is all recorded. This goes out live, so video clips can be rewatched. If people are left embarrassed, video clips can be rewatched. But Johnny, actually, I know you did say it's going to be a whitewash. I'm yet to actually get a score prediction off you. Do you want to give me a score prediction?
Yes, look, tomorrow is going to be, me and Pat and all the other Tottenham fans tomorrow, we're going to sit back, we're going to have a big smile on our face, and we're going to absolutely destroy this mediocre of a fucking team with a has-been of a manager that's not really a manager, by the way. He's only pretending to be a manager. You've got will.i.am the singer playing for you. You've got fucking Sideshow Bob from Senses coming drafted in, and you think you're going to keep this Tottenham unbelievable lethal weapons quiet. Are you absolute mad? Tottenham's going to come in tomorrow, right? And we're going to be in second gear. We might push it up to third. We're going to beat Arsenal 4-1. 4-1. We're going to beat Arsenal 4-1. And what we're going to do is, and I listened to Gooner Sulz and all this fucking shite talking about, we played like Man City and we played like Liverpool and they didn't beat us off the park, blah, blah, blah. Shit, right? Fucking shit. The reason why these guys didn't have to do it, because they didn't need to do it. It's the same with Tottenham. When Tottenham were beating you 2-0, we could end up beating you 5-0. But we said, no, we'll hold it. We hold what we have. We'll get the result. And, we think about the next game and we drop down the gears. Any top-level club would do the exact same thing. If they're in a commanding position, they see out the game. They don't have to take risks. They don't need to take risks. But this Tottenham 4 of big Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the highest goal scorer in North London derbies. We've got 20 goals in our last 7 matches. We've got over 100 goals, and we've possibly another 20-odd games left to play. Do not underestimate this Tottenham team. This Tottenham team is going in tomorrow, and we're going to absolutely whitewash it. Arsenal are living on past tenses of we were great and all this. You're gone. You're not the same team. You're shit. You're
Right, lads, I'm just gonna, I think I've got enough sound bites for after Arsenal win 2-0. I think I've enough footage to chop up and put little video clips out there. And for anyone who knows, I think this is gonna be and then man part 2. Brighton and then man, this is gonna be part 2 for anyone who knows. But lads, I'm gonna give a prediction. Like I said, we're actually a bit over time, so I'm sorry that we have to wrap it up now. But it's been fun, lads. It has been fun. Like I said, it's been banter central. What else would you expect? It's Spurs, it's Arsenal. This is what we expect. But now, look, like I said, lads, I do appreciate the Spurs guys coming on. Like, big respect for coming out here and saying your piece. I do apologise for absolutely milking the video clips after we get the 3 points tomorrow. I'm sorry. But yeah, look, lads, it's been cool. So guys, just before we wrap up, I just want to get Sulz and Farhan just to shout out because they have channels. So I want Farhan, first of all, you just let the people know where they can check out your content.
Yeah, cheers, Anthony. Thanks for having me on. It's been a bundle of joy to be speaking with two Spurs fan, living in future wins. Already the confidence oozing out of them. I can smell it from here. I look good on you, lads. It's always good to be wishful and it's always good to be confident. But when the reality starts to seep in, I do want you guys to take care of yourselves. Easy on the drinks tomorrow. You guys can find me on Gunner on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Gunner since '96. I aim to release a piece of content every single day, and I also got a podcast for you Tottenham guys as well. If you want to come check it out, it might be helpful tomorrow because the podcast is called the Arsenal Therapy Podcast. Usually after terrible results, I need to sit down and give some therapy to myself. But you guys are more than welcome to join me tomorrow, because I'm sure you'll be needing some form of therapy, one form or another. Or you can wait until the end of the season for all the failures to unravel themselves. A cup final defeat, a Europa League defeat as well, and a woeful league finish. But I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for having me, boys, and great banter and great chit chat.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Like I said, lads, no, we do appreciate. Look, at the end of the day, it's only a bit of fun, it's only a bit of banter. But Sulz, where can the people find you? Give yourself a shout out there.
Yeah, you can find me at Gooner Sulz, or on Twitter and Gooner Sulz as well. Yeah, I mean, I've got a therapist for you Spurs fans. You know, if you need it, I'm sure he'll give you a session for free. He won't even charge you for this one. You can have it on him. You know, because when we're done, even if it's a 1-0, lads, I don't care now, because we are gonna beat you. Yeah, you're gonna be humbled. You gotta eat that humble pie, lads, because that is exactly what's gonna come to you. You know what? You're coming with a lot of confidence, with a lot of passion, yeah. And I love it. Because when we beat you, it's just gonna feel so much better. Because I'm just gonna be partying, I'm gonna be running up and down the streets naked, because I'm just gonna be like, yep, we've done it again. Yeah. When you when you doubt the Arsenal, when you call Arsenal and say, look, yeah, you man are shit, right? They will answer. They will tell you, are we shit? That's what people said about the FA Cup. And I know we're living in the past, but guess what? We are still currently the holders, because the co-holders haven't yet finished. So on that, right, I'm confident. I'm going to sleep good. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have a nice, English breakfast. I'm going to, proper have a nice day. Then at 4:30, mate, the day's just going to get better when we absolutely destroy Spurs. And you know what? The match reaction will be on Gooner Sulz. So you know what? Watch that one.
100%. There'll be plenty of happy videos, hopefully tomorrow from the Arsenal
hopefully, mate.
channel.
It's happening.
It's happening. Well, then again, look, they do call him Mystic Sulz. He does make the predictions, so hopefully Sulz, from an Arsenal perspective, hopefully you're on the ball again. So I think Pat wants to say something. I don't know. Might just leave him. Just go on.
Right, can we please have a post-match one of these, because it's too interesting not to.
Go on then.
Hey. Yeah. 100%, especially if Arsenal win this 4-0, lads, you're coming back. I was like, I will call down to your house. I will find you. You're both in Ireland. I will find you, Pat. I already know where you live. I'm going to be outside. I'm going to be outside your door with my laptop.
Hey, can I just say, respect to the two lads. You've been great banter. It's only a game of football. It was good slagging, good banter. You're great guys. And Sulz, I've watched you a few times. Respect you. Farhan, I love your backdrop. It's cool. So listen, what happens tomorrow happens. But we're all have pride in our team. I think we should all have a post-match, maybe slagging match, should we call it, whatever. A post-match thing. Because
yeah, no, that's it. Look, 100%. Look, at the end of the day, it's football rivalry, and this is what the people want to see. This is what the people want to hear. But look, at the end of it all, we're not going to fall out. We didn't like us to begin with, so we're not going to dislike us tomorrow. So it's all good. So don't worry. No, but in all seriousness, lads, every one of you has been great sports. It's been great banter, and look, whichever way it goes, it's going to be a fun one to look back on for somebody. Unless, of course, it's a boring 0-0 draw, and then we'll all be just like, yeah, we just delete this video and pretend it never happened. But lads, we're going to leave it there. So again, big shout out to everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you all enjoy the game tomorrow. I hope it's an absolute belter of a game. Big shout out to all the guys who came on tonight. As I said, great sports. The banter was 90. Yeah, I can only imagine what the post-match is going to be like. So yeah, look, as always, thanks for watching. Come on, you Arsenal. Come on.